Hey guys, it's Kay. I hope you're all well. Now recently I had an email from a viewer. Now in that email he explained that he had created an operating system for the Raspberry Pi 4 and it was called Fenix OS. And he wanted me to have a look at it and review it on my channel. Now of course I agreed because I'm a big fan of these themed operating systems for the Raspberry Pi 4. Now his email contained a lot of screen prints of his operating system, which is great because as I say, a picture tells 1,000 words. And I don't believe English is his first language. Anyway, here's my take on Azir's Fenix OS. Now the first thing you'll notice is that you can actually change the type of desktop you log into. By simply clicking on the top left hand corner you can select, and I'm going to select the XFCE session. Now at this point it's worth noting you can actually log into different themed operating systems. And these include Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows 95, and there's Mac, and then there's Ubuntu, and then there's also Windows XP. But of course I'm going to log into his Fenix themed operating system, which is the first one. So we log in with the password Fenix. And this is it guys, there's a lot to see here. So the first thing we can see is that we've got a lot of widgets on the desktop. And the first one consists of a time, date, and under that we've got hard disk, RAM and CPU utilization. And below that we've got some more widgets. We've got a graphical representation of your download speed. And below that we've got a more detailed view of the CPU utilization, which also gives us details of the processes using the CPU. And then below that we've got RAM utilization, which also gives us details of processes using it. And below that we've got another widget representing the CPU with all the 4 cores. I've got to say I'm a fan of all these widgets and details on the desktop. Now along the bottom we've got a funny little thing with an animation of Bart Simpson on the quick access menu bar. Now as you can see along the bottom it's a bit like the Apple OS menu system, but on steroids. You get little explosions when you highlight an app and the little character follows you along. Now you do get all the standard applications that you would get in a standard Pi OS build, along with all the features like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. Now along top we've also got another menu, and noticeably we've got access to overclocking the CPU. And also a nice little touch we've got here is access to notes, and quick access to restore and minimize windows. We've got access to Clipman, which is like clipboard. We've got volume control here, and we've got our wired internet access point here. And then we've got our main menu here with access to all our applications. Now as mentioned before, in terms of applications we've got a whole suite of categories. So first one is settings. Here we've got everything we need to customize our experience. And of course accessories, where we've got a whole load of useful apps. Looks like we've got Chrome applications here with access to Netflix and Spotify, development and education. We've got games, and we've got access to Minecraft Pi. And of course Steam Link. We've got graphics including GIMP Shop and LibreDraw. We've got internet, and we've got Chromium Media Edition, as well as a normal edition. We've got multimedia including sound and video players, and of course we've got Office with a whole suite of LibreOffice. Now in system settings I've noticed we've got access to PiKit. Now this is great because we can add all sorts of useful software, including games emulators. Okay, on the end of the menu we've got a logout. If we right click on the desktop we can get access to our desktop settings. So let's just quickly change our desktop picture. And there you go guys, nice and clean. Now what I'm going to show you next is something I've never seen in any operating system on the Raspberry Pi 4, so it's quite impressive. Now to show you this, we first need to click on Compiz Start here on the desktop, and that will just start up a script file. Now if I go to the top left hand corner you'll see it show me all my desktops. Now you might be thinking this is not impressive, I've seen this before, but let's just quickly open up some applications for each of the desktops to show you what I mean. Okay, so now I have applications open up on all my desktops. But now, watch what happens when I click on Alt and Control and drag my mouse across. Absolutely amazing, 3D rendition of our desktops. Even the windows look like they're floating on the desktop. Now for all this to be working on a Raspberry Pi 4 with so much fluidity is amazing. It's all very smooth and there's no stuttering. The Raspberry Pi 4 is coping with all this with ease. Now the last thing I want to show you on this desktop is the way the windows act when you move them around. You get this kind of a wave effect, which is pretty smart. Okay, so let's log out and let's try another one of these desktops. Click on the applications menu and we should find logout here. And there it is. Now this should bring us back to the main login screen. So let's try number 10 next. And this is probably going to be Windows 10. Now password is Fenix. And we're correct. And it looks like a pretty good theme on Windows 10. We've got our application shortcuts along the bottom here. And we've got our main menu here with all our menu items and our little search bar here. Yeah, everything's here. We've got Office, Multimedia, Internet, Graphics and Education. And we've also got our Windows-like icons here on the bottom right hand side of the menu. And again, if we right click on the desktop we can change our desktop settings. Now again, like before, let's try that desktop effect. Now I believe we need to click on this XFCE effects, and then if we go to the top left hand corner we're going to see all our desktops like before. And again, if we hold Alt and Control and drag with our mouse, we're going to get the effect. And wow, we're getting a fish tank effect here. And instead of being outside the box, we're actually inside the box. I must say, this is pretty cool. Okay, let's go and have a look at one of these other theme desktops. So start menu, log out. Oh, and a nice little warp effect. Let's click on log out. Okay, so the next one is number 7. So this looks like a Windows 7 theme. Again, we log in with the Fenix password. And yes, so if you like Windows 7, this is the one for you. So we've got all our shortcuts along the bottom here with our Office suite. And we've got the classic looking Windows 7 start menu. Now we've got all the applications we have in the other themes. So quickly scrolling through, you can see we've got everything here. Now let's try that desktop effect. We need to click on this Compass start. And yes, again, we click on the top left, we get the desktops. And if we Control Alt and drag our mouse, we get the effect, which is pretty cool as always. Okay, let's log out and see the next desktop theme. Next one is named number 95, and I presume this is Windows 95. Now the next one after that is called No Mac, so I presume this is going to be a Mac themed desktop. Let's give this one a go. So the password is Fenix as usual. And yeah, it looks great. It looks like your latest Mac version. You've got your menu along the bottom with all your apps. And just like Mac up top, we have got a secondary menu bar with your dates, your network settings. Now there's tons here to see and I can't really go through it all, but it's always worth having a go yourselves. Now I'm dying to try this Windows effect again, so if I click on effects I believe this should work. Yes, and there you go. Now pressing Ctrl Alt and dragging, and there we go, we get the Windows effect. Pretty cool, with a little cog inside. So guys, I highly recommend you have a look at this, it's pretty amazing. So let's now go and have a look at the last two themes. Now this one is called No Unity, and I presume it's Ubuntu. Password again is Fenix, and we've got our menu on the side here. We've got Mozilla, VLC, command prompt, and we've got a little search function here. This looks like LibreOffice, and of course up top we have the main menu. So if you're used to Ubuntu, you'll know your way around here. Now top right we've got access to the App Store. Now I wonder what this is, QB, and it's QBitTorrent, so if you like torrenting this is the one for you. Now if I do a quick search for that app called Compass, I can show you the desktop effect, and there it is. Hold Ctrl Alt and drag your mouse, and there we go, we get the effect. Now I'm glad that he's included this effect on all the themes, it's pretty cool. Okay guys, so now we're on the last but not least theme, and it's called No XP, so it looks like it's going to be a Windows XP theme. And it's basically more of the same with a Windows XP theme. So guys, as I mentioned before, I highly recommend you go and download this distro. If anything, it shows you what the Raspberry Pi 4 is capable of, and it's a lot of fun along the way. Now I've left links in the description below on where you can download this, which is basically his website. So guys, as always, if you found this video helpful, give us a like and maybe even a subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.